Hey guys, when I'm around, let's call them the general public, if things, a lot of times we're just talking about stuff or particulars about work or what we're going to do or have done or things like that. So, but otherwise, there's often a bit of conversation about like what's going on around us, and usually it's a little bit of what you think should be different about what's going on around us and how things could be improved. And sometimes it's just outright, isn't it terrible, isn't it terrible, isn't it terrible? And when I'm around those types of conversations about isn't it terrible, isn't it all going wrong, isn't so-and-so at fault, shouldn't such and such be fixed or changed, when I'm around that type of conversation, I'm often thinking, I interrupt sometimes, but it really comes off very offensive. It's like somebody telling you something, a story, and then saying to them, you lie. That's a lie. You're lying. I don't believe you. It's like people don't want to hear that. That gets really annoying. So how do you sort of say in a softer way that there is nothing around us that isn't happening exactly as it's supposed to? And that every occurrence around us, every way that every business is set up, every bit of technology that comes out and everything that should have come out that didn't come out is all perfect. It's all exactly the way it should be. It's all exactly the way it can only be. It can only be the way it is. No one could have messed it up. No one can mess it up. We can't mess it up. We can't make the perfection of what planet Earth is right now. We can't mess that up if we tried. But you might say, well, why is this the version of perfection? And as you start to think, okay, let's at least play with the idea. Why? Show me that this is the view of perfection around me and this is the best that humans can or should be doing in all areas. And if you sit with that for a minute, you can start to have a little bit of a sense of acceptance of the way things are. And say, well, maybe things aren't good, but I accept it as it is. And then maybe you will start to see where it's acceptable. God's not trying to come down here and punish us for what's going on the planet Earth right now. He's not going to hold anyone accountable for not having done more or something like that. It's acceptable. But as you integrate and sort of live that life is acceptable and everyone's doing the best they can, that's a tricky one for a lot of people. They don't even think they're doing the best they can. So how could they think that anyone else is doing the best they can? Or if they are, then we're all just doing a really poor job, and we're all going to have to be accountable for it when we die. And that view of the world will yield you evidence that will prove that that's actually the case. Whatever level you can vibrationally, I hate to use that word, but any level that you can vibrationally rise to will reveal its facts under that vibration. It's like, I don't go for information about what's going on. Like when this virus came up, I don't know what's going on with it. I know there's something perfect about it, but I don't know what it is. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't see it coming. I'm not really surprised. But at the same time, it's like, well, how bad is this going to get? And so that crosses my mind like anybody's mind. But I don't go to scientists for it. The scientists are always somewhere just behind an energy that's already downloaded to us. The information's already around us, and then scientists pick it up. Where do they pick it up from? And who's picking up on that energy before the scientists decide it's something they even want to research? Or an idea they think might be plausible, or any of those types of things that are already out there. And they came from, as an example, like Einstein and even George Washington had claimed this, but I'm thinking like Tesla and those kind of people, and people who, even great musicians and stuff, but the really greats, the Mozarts and stuff like that, they came in with the knowledge of how this was already going to be done. They came in, and when they got relaxed and they were in a dream state, usually they took naps, and that's when the information came to them. This information would just flood into their mind. It already was in their vibration to create this electric. Then they have to figure out how to make it happen. But they already had the dream of the, Tesla for sure. I remember watching videos on, actually you can even listen to a recording from him when he was alive. So it's like there's an interview on YouTube of Tesla. It's a great one. He talks all about spirituality. It's all energy, all vibration, all spirituality, and all the information came to him from the other side. So anyway, but the guy I sort of latched onto when I was like 15 or 16, I guess, maybe earlier, but was Edgar Cayce. And he kind of definitely got all his information when he went into a trance, like self-hypnosis. And then they wrote down everything he said for years and years and years, many sessions a day. So he's got a ton of documentation on everything to do with spirituality and how all this stuff works and how everything's perfect. So getting back to this point about the virus, how can that be perfect? Well, one thing I would wonder anything about it, I wouldn't go to a scientist, I wouldn't go to the news for sure, I wouldn't go to my neighbors on the street. My neighbors on the street are the most panicked, unreliable information you can get. Then maybe the news, then maybe the authorities, then maybe the scientists. But way ahead of all of those is people from the other side, the collective consciousness, your spirit guides, your dead relatives that hang around you. I mean, this stuff either exists or it doesn't exist. And if it exists, I know it does for me. Experientially, I own that. I know that everything's perfect. And I know every time I bring up my vibration and start to feel the perfection of everything around me, I start seeing it all over the place. And I start making sense of a lot of stuff that didn't make sense to me. And with that, I just decide, I'm not going to keep looking. I just know it. I start thinking it. Something feels funky. Oh, I know there's something perfect in this. I'm going to just go ahead and start appreciating it now. And sure enough, I do end up appreciating it. And then I start seeing its perfection. And then I start getting farther and farther up the ladder of joy, peace, energy, knowledge, everything. Everything's there. And then you realize if you're going to be in that mindset all day long, it's blissful. I know I can go there if something's ever bothering me on the outside world, starts to bug me too much. But really you can't be with other people the same way you can on planet Earth, which is one of the beauties of why we want to be here on planet Earth. We said, hey, this is the way it's going to be. We understand this is the way it's going to be. And I'm willing to bring my soul energy into this human body and go another round and have some fun out there as a human on planet Earth in the year 2020 in Baltimore City. You didn't want anything different than this. This is exactly what you came here for. Now, you didn't come here to do anything. There's nothing you need to accomplish. There's nothing you need to have done or something like that. Your soul does come in with a personality that it likes something or is attracted to something. You get these souls that come in and at 2 years old, they're on America's Got Talent and getting signed on contracts and stuff like that. And plenty of teenagers and young adults that are just gobs of talent, way beyond their years in instruments and music and everything. And it's like, duh, I'm only going to be able to rise in my vibration so much and enlighten myself so much in my lifetime. But I'm going to birth children who I'm going to bring up vibrationally to where I am at a very young age. And then they'll go out and do more with their lives vibrationally and be more connected and see the perfection of everything around them much easier. But you never end. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper, the perfection. So there's no rush. Let's just sit back and enjoy little dabs of feeling of perfection. And the rest of the time, just enjoy the ride. But don't get too wrapped up in what you're supposed to be watching out for. Protect yourself from. That is a wasted energy for sure, I can tell you that. Maybe we should spend a minute on the downside. If you go the other way and you say, I know that bad's coming to me. I know what I need to watch out for. I'm prepared for those things. You're never really going to feel prepared, because if you feel there's something to watch out for, your imagination has no limits on how to pretend there's something dangerous coming at you. Something's going to take your money. Something's going to take your happiness. Something's going to take your love. Something's going to take your health. Something's going to take they're all in your head. It's all fully wired and ready to go from a very primal instinct of running in the jungle from everything that moved around you, you can brew up a lot of fear, no problem. But that fear energy says everything's wrong around you. Nothing's perfect, nothing's even good or acceptable. Everything's wrong around me. And I don't know what's wrong yet, but I feel it. I vibrationally know that I feel something's wrong. And they think they're instinctive or something, like they're the enlightened ones that can intuitively figure out that trouble's brewing. It's like, walked across the parking lot and I knew there was danger out there, so I was extra careful because I'm really cautious and I'm the man. It's like, no, there was never any danger. You're misinterpreting your environment. Now, if you want to go that way and you want to think that everything's wrong around you and there's all those things and all those angles you need to watch out, then what are you going to experience in life? You're going to want to validate that. You're going to say, I feel this is coming my way and it's going to be bad. And as soon as any little piece of anything that might have seemed it slightly in that direction, you chalk it up and make big circle around it in your mind and say, there's number one. See, I told you that's where it's going. The evidence is showing it's going down the toilet. And this is all going to go to shit. And we're all going to, suffer. So with that, then you just start going further down the pipe and you find more evidence that seems to attribute it, and you start asking other people about it, and you vibrationally carry this idea. And it's like buying a new certain brand red car. Next thing you know, now you see them everywhere. Your brain is just perceiving little bits of its environment around you. And what does it focus on? What vibrationally matches? What vibrationally matches with everything's going to shit? A whole lot of shit. So if you're seeing a whole lot of shit on planet Earth and a lot of things you wish were different, then stop focusing on it. Stop looking at it. You're the one brewing it up. Just be at peace with it all and let it be. If someone wants to come and rob you, if someone wants to take your health, someone wants to take your money, let them. But then when you really let them, you'll realize, oh, I never really needed to watch out anyway. There was never anything to be afraid of. At that point in time, you're dead. So why not just embrace that concept now and decide that I'm going to see the perfection in everything going on around me. And until I do, I'm not going to rest. But anyway, you'll find you have to rest even to do this. So resting's step one. Sit down. And now that we got the virus running around, everybody's got to stay out of group gatherings. Come on out in the woods and chew on the perfection of everything you see around you. Anyway, thanks. Love you guys. See ya.